Back here, it's Alex. Welcome back. Again, one of the neat things about events, the North American Hockey League, is not only talking to players, coaches, scouts, but we also get to lend the ear of several broadcasters in the league, and there may be none more veteran status than that of the Bismarck Bobcats. Paul Teeple. Paul, hello. Welcome to NAHL Now.
Alex, how's it going? Pleasure to be here.
It's great. So one of the big perspectives you have is you obviously get to see every game. You've been to the showcase many, many years. Overall, your thought on how it just keeps getting bigger and better?
It's unbelievable. You think back to my first showcase in 2008, and it was a pretty big event then, but in the last 5 years, though, leaps and bounds that the event has taken, and how we always joke about the big black wall, all those windbreakers with the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Tampa Bay Lightning and all the NHL teams, all the NCAA teams, all here to watch these players. The exposure that these guys get just from 4 days in Blaine is pretty impressive.
How do you think the league has evolved to the point where it's getting 259 commitments a year, breaking a record again last year? The Bobcats, of course, being a big part of that since their entrance into the league back in 2003. Just your overall perspective of having seen the league evolve to the point where it's now at that number.
Well, I think there's a lot of things that go into it, but it's events like this, and the reputation is built, bringing in things like the Elite League, the NAPHL, to have all of the spectrum for the scouts to see over the course of the week, but the coaches also have a chance to network and develop relationships with these colleges, with these scouts, so that they can get a phone call in January and say, hey, tell me a little bit about this player. The scouts know that they can trust what the coaches are saying, and it just helps the marketing in so many different ways of these players to get to that next level.
You guys were at the Robertson Cup last year, a little bit different format that will be followed here in a couple years ahead. A Final Four format, but a 3-game mini-series. Overall, your thought of the format, the experience in Edina, Minnesota, which was a new venue, and switching back to a format that's more of a Final Four than a playdown.
Well, Alex, I think you know that I've been hoping for that for a long, long time, and to have that happen was awesome, and then to be there to see how it was executed in Edina was even better. It was so great the way that not only you had the play down, you played not last year, but 2 games in the series, and then to have the championship game and have it centrally located in Edina, to have the scouts be able to come. It was really the best of both worlds. I thought I couldn't have gone better.
All right, let's do some quick hits. One broadcaster that you look up to in the National Hockey League.
In the National Hockey League, Dave Mishkin with the Tampa Bay Lightning. I've tried to emulate his goal calls a little bit ever since college.
I can see that. Another question, if you had one song to put on your iPod to listen to for the rest of the time, what would the song be and who's the artist?
Jackson Browne, the Pretender.
Okay. That was a quick answer. And finally, just overall perspective of the Bobcats, now their 20th year in the Bismarck area, of course, starting out in the America West Hockey League and now in the North American Hockey League. Explain what that means to the city, the support that the fans have given over 20 years.
It's incredible. It's the fans, it's the volunteers, it's the billet families. The community has been such a huge part of the Bobcats ever since the team came to be in 1997, and it's never gone away. It's only gotten stronger, and I think that that's a really great testament to not just the community, but also what team ownership with the Briggle family has been able to do for the Bobcats, and to make it so strong and still growing after 20 years. It's kind of crazy to think this team's been here since 1997. You think maybe a plateau, maybe it dipped down a little bit. It just gets stronger every year, and I think that's the biggest testament to the staying power of Bobcat hockey in Bismarck-Mandan.
Paul Teeple, voice of the Bismarck Bobcats, thank you.
Thanks, Alex.
Talk about the footprint real quick of the South Division. You now have 7 teams with the addition of the Shreveport Mudbugs. I'm sure that your fans will remember the Mudbugs fondly as they were a rival in the CHL. They've been dormant now for 4 or 5 years, but they're back under the NAHL model. Do you expect them to have similar success like you have had in the league?
Absolutely. Hey, and talk about success. They'll be better. They're going to set the bar high for everybody. And we've been fortunate enough to be the first in attendance the last 2-3 years. I think our time might be put on, our success may be put on jeopardy here with the addition of the Mudbugs, but it's all for a good thing. It's going to make us work harder, but most importantly, it's going to be a great place for the young men to play. They will be treated top notch. Scotty Musket and Tommy Scott there they really take care of their players. I had the chance to play there as a pro player way back in the days, and they'll just enjoy playing in Shreveport. And those fans, you would lock the doors and they'd find their way in. So they have a great supporting cast there and a great front office. Scotty Musket, who's lived there from his playing days, coaching days, will be phenomenal. So it's a great addition, not only to the South Division, but to the NAHL in general.
Okay, we're going to do a couple of quick hits. We do this with everybody that we talk to. So very fun and easy questions. So we know you're Canadian. When you go back home to Canada, what is the one food that you missed most and that's first you get when you head back to Canada?
Poutine.
Poutine. And for people who don't know, that's French fries covered in gravy and cheese curds.
Cheese curds. Exactly. Squeaky cheese curds.
Okay.
Yes.
I also miss Tim Hortons. That's it. You like Timmy Hortons?
I like Tim Hortons,
Okay.
but I'm addicted to Starbucks now, being in the U.S. all this time.
He's truly a United States citizen. If you had one song on your iPod to listen to for the rest of time, what's the song and who's the artist?
I would say it would be any Elton John songs.
Okay.
All of them.
All right, Elton John. And then the last question is, so growing up, playing hockey, who did you look up to? Who did you model your game after? Or who was kind of your hockey idol?
Well, I was fortunate to grow up in a NHL locker room. My dad trainer for the Canucks, so I liked any Vancouver Canuck at the time. So they were just all my idols. So I didn't have one guy in particular, but I was fortunate enough to skate with them, hang out in the locker room with them. So I liked all those guys. And it's funny now, I see them, they're all either here scouting or doing the work in the front office for teams. But I didn't have one guy in particular. But if I'd have to pick one, being from Montreal, I'd have to say Guy Lafleur.
Okay. Pat Dunn, Corpus Christi Ice Race, thank you so much. Best of luck this season.
Thanks.